on that Tracer, you have to wonder if it's really going to matter. Because if he's able to find as much value as he was able to find on that third point again, there may not be any stopping the Dallas Deranged. Now, interestingly here, Eklo camped on the starting building and was able to catch out Mr. Twister. That's going to be a very important first pick here in the fight as Monkai falls as well. Very, very clever strategy there from the far
the roofs were not
army.
checked by the tanks, and simply he hides there, waits it out, and gets the kill, which puts Dallas on the back foot. However, they're already getting picks with Night Owl cleaning people, trying to take down the McCree. Gets really low, but
Far Mercy is gone. So that's actually a good combination play there from Mr. Twister and Lucky Owl. A body shot onto Gremlin brought her, him or her quite low. And there was the follow-up right there from Lucky Owl. Big shatter, though, from Bray. The entirety of the Dallas Deranged are purpled. And this is a last fight scenario now that they're in overtime. Bray is falling quite low, though. The Nano
In
comes out
Justice,
on Mode.
anti-nated, low health, falls down. And Mode is the last man on point. He cannot die as he does. And there's only now Night Owl, once again, trying to survive, trying to clear people out the point, trying to do anything he can. As
Lucky Owl bought so much time there, but it really was a nearly unwinnable situation after that barrage. Eklo again getting a massive play, started in part because of his initial pick on that rooftop. I think my co-caster may have disconnected here.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a disconnect, internet faux pas. Great. The game crashed. Open. God damn it. should be. I'm sorry, folks, as the internet went down. We will make sure that it gets back up right away. I believe we have reconnected, or have we? Reconnected, it does appear we are back live and reconnected. Let's see if we're reconnected.
Hey,
Oh,
well,
there we go. We are reconnecting right now. As have we missed anything? Have they paused the game? What is going on?
okay, so the game is paused. We are currently in a situation where the Dallas Deranged have just completed their attack run. Nothing has happened since then. The attack run was stopped in the market courtyard area of the first point on Dorado.
Good, we have not missed. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, about that issue. My internet decided to not work for no reason for about 5 minutes. Technical difficulties as we are back in it. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so I think it's fair to say that we're in a situation where the potential Dallas snowball didn't quite work out. We saw some big plays from Eklo that were really able to halt the momentum from Dallas Deranged, although Mr. Twister and Lucky Owl did show some pretty impressive synergy. They've now got a pretty big task ahead of them as they have to hold off the Florida Harmony for 3 minutes, 15 seconds to be able to take this map.
Yeah.
And
it
we're
is
going
not a
right
long
back
distance
into the
thing
match.
to go. At least they managed to push it past the first choke, as getting it past the first choke is the hardest part of this map.
Yeah, it's definitely a hold that's doable, if not the most likely in the world. So Dallas Deranged will obviously be putting in their all here. They don't want to be put in a situation where one map loss is going to equal their elimination from the playoffs.
Could you repeat that? We had a slight disconnect.
Yes. So the situation right now, again, is that as recently disconnected, the game was paused as a result. It's currently 1-1, and Florida Harmony is starting their overtime attack run against the Dallas Deranged.
Yeah.
So, in terms of compositions here, we have a bit of an interesting composition here from Dallas Deranged. This is something they haven't shown before. They're running a McCree Hanzo with a Reinhardt Diva and Lucio Moira. So they've already rotated behind the first choke here. This is going to be the hardest part for the Florida Harmony to push through. After this, they don't have very far to go to get to the end of the map. Mode falls very low here, actually is going to fall out entirely, but Lucky Owl finds the return kill onto Bray. That is going to get rezzed up though, as Eklo flies above the Dallas Deranged composition. Bray pushes in very far again and does fall quite low as a result, but he's taken a lot of space. The Nano comes out. Bray is kept up, and as a result, we're going to see the High Noon get canceled by a Shatter. This looks like cleanup here for the Florida Harmony. There may be a few more staggers from Dallas Deranged, but they've won this overtime push in decisive fashion.
Yeah, as they will now go 2-1. They need to win the next, and we go into our game match in a match point. That was very impressive showing from the Harmony.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we've seen that there are compositions with Pharah and Junkrat and various other flexible DPS characters have really been, impactful here, have really put them over the top. Eklo in particular has done a lot of work, but we shouldn't discount the support line as well. Gregory has been able to keep Bray in the game and compensate for Bray's aggression and occasional over-aggression by building up Nano extremely quickly and using it to really turn around fights. We saw it there once the cart got into the courtyard, because Bray twice fell extremely low, but was kept up by the support line, eventually nanoed, and just once that ultimate came out.
Yeah, as we get things sorted out for the next map. A win for Florida Harmony in the next map means there is a victory for this in a 3-1. However, if Dallas can win in the Blizzard World, they will be going into a map 5. Personally, I'm a big fan of a map 5.
Oh yeah, map 5 is always exciting and definitely something that we're very familiar with here at the OWCC. I've casted a lot of small dynasty games. They always go to map 5. A number of other teams have that tendency as well. Looking at you, Cosmic. Speaking of which, it's going to be one of the more interesting playoff matches once we get to round 3, so definitely very excited for that one. In the moment, though, Dallas Deranged and Florida Harmony do still have a long way to go. Blizzard World can either be a really quick map or a really long map, depending on how the flow of the match goes. First point on Blizzard World is pretty treacherous to get through, but once you get the ball rolling, it becomes a bit harder to stop on the second and third points.
Yeah,
So
I would say that Dallas has an advantage on the first point, and on the third, and on the last turn of the third point, where Harmony has an advantage on the rest of the map. As far judging by how they played this game.
yeah, I think the engages from Dallas are going to be pretty crucial here, because there's a lot of space you have to take to even get to the point on Blizzard World first. And if Florida Harmony is able to use that time to get value out of their Pharah, out of their Junkrat pick perhaps, and build up to ultimates, then there's very little the Dallas Strange will be able to do once they get to point. But if they're able to prevent Florida from getting as much poke as they want, if they're able to play out of sight lines and keep their lineup up, if they're able to engage cleanly, then they should definitely be able to take first point running their goats or similar compositions against what Florida Harmony likes to run, which are poke compositions, essentially.
Yeah. However, the thing that we need to look out for, especially for Dallas, we need to look out, I feel, to Owl, who is just dominating on that Tracer, simply uncontested. Actually, let me rephrase it, uncontestable on that Tracer. And
I think you can definitely contest Lucky Owl, but Florida
it didn't look like it as he danced about everything that was thrown at him.
I think that's a decision that Florida has made with their compositions, actually. They like to run a lot of Ana, Zen, and similar healers that don't have a lot of peel for each other, which means that a Tracer can get into the back line and just rip apart a single target, an Ana, a Zenyatta, even one of the tanks if they've fallen low enough. And if Florida were to be running a third support, or to be running a Brigitte as part of their backline, that task would become a lot harder for the Tracer.
Yeah. And the other player to look out for is Eklo, who has been sniping people with Pharah, who has been simply dominant this entire time. Even when they were losing, you said that he was doing the majority of the damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Eklo, I think we saw it pretty emphatically on Point A Anubis, where despite the fact that he was in a lost fight where he got relatively little value as Genji with his blade, he was able to build up another blade before the next fight. So that, obviously the rest of Florida Harmony had a lot of trouble with Temple of Anubis, especially, on their attack run on point A. And once those issues were sorted out, maybe they hadn't practiced Anubis, maybe it was just a situation where that map is bad for their compositions and they haven't figured out how to work around it yet. Once they got past that, they've looked pretty strong, perhaps even dominant, I'd say, after that Dorado game.
I wonder if there was only some maps that Florida Harmony actually practiced for, because on that Dorado, it looked like they knew what they were doing. They knew the ins, the outs, who needs to be where, when, do what, why, perfectly. And it was just beautiful to watch as, D.Va goes up, defense matrixes afar, trying to duel a Widow, like perfectly timed everything in coordination. And that was just beautiful to watch from, at least my perspective. What do you feel that is the case, that they just prepare to some maps and not the others, or do you feel
it's entirely possible? Yeah, they definitely looked a lot more prepared for Dorado than they did for Anubis.
Welcome to Blizzard
Yeah.
World.
As we will be now going into Blizzard World,
Initiating match.
the beautiful statues that are here. Dwarves, humans, elves, mages, and whoever the hell this person is.
Yes, the entire Warcraft cast for this first area.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't actually know them.
Now, this is a map that has 3 separate themes. The first stage, of course, being World of Warcraft. The second stage being based on the StarCraft franchise. And the third stage being largely based on Diablo. You do also have tie-ins to various other games scattered across the map. The Spawn being Hearthstone themed, and so on and so forth.
Which is a problem considering that it's in the Warcraft world.
Yeah, well, it is also closest to the Warcraft area, so you could argue it fits in right where it should be.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
As now we're seeing an interesting choice from the defense with Ashe and Hanzo as the main DPS. What are your thoughts on that? What are they looking to do here with this combination?
Essentially, they're looking to get picks on entry. Obviously, Hanzo can fight point, and Ashe can fight point a little bit, but they have to use the high ground there. So the main thing they're looking to do is find picks off on the composition for Florida Harmony on the way in before they get to point. Obviously, the rest of the composition, the Reinhardt Zarya, the Ana Lucio, can fight on point quite well and sustain there, but Hanzo and Ashe aren't point brawlers. They're meant to be doing their damage beforehand. On the other side of things, we have a fairly familiar composition from the Harmony here, using both the Pharah and the Widow to try to get as much value as possible. And they've already found some. Mr. Twister has fallen.
And right after him, Lucky Owl falls down. The DPS are simply winning the duels and cleaning the house. Ekla will take down both supports, as now only tanks remain. Correction, no tanks remain. And Mode simply charges Boss Face off the map in vengeance for daring to take the point.
Objective lost.
Yeah, so that's a situation that you don't want to be in as the side of the Dallas Deranged. If your hit scan aren't doing work on that Pharah, then there isn't a D.Va in your composition to really deal with her. So obviously you see the swap from Lucky Owl onto the Widow now, trying to put Pharah in a position where she has to be worried about a one-shot, not just taking a lot of damage to the Ashe. And it really is on Lucky Owl to get kills onto the Pharah right now, as well as onto the Mercy, which Lucky Owl has done. This may be a turnaround here, as Eklo no longer has enough sustain to reliably work at a distance.
Yeah, but he gets sniped down by Vax, standing on top of the tower. Cannon, whatever that is. And now the fight is starting to swing into the way of Dallas, as they're now cleaning up one person at a time.
That was so much value that Sayonara got just there. That was really well played from the Ana. Not only was the impact of that shatter largely negated by the sleep dart onto the Reinhardt and the subsequent nade to keep the tanks alive, Sayonara was able to pocket the remaining members through the rest of that fight and ensure that Dallas won. Now they have a Nano and an initial pick onto Gremlin, and this looks like a bad situation for the Harmony. But Aranea and Mr. Twister fall, Monkai as well. Obviously, no one was able to get out of range of that bomb in time, and even though Lucky Owl responds with kill onto Vax, this should be just a win here for the Florida Harmony.
I feel that was a
5v6, but
I feel that was a mistake by Mode. He jumped out to the right when he should have jumped back to protect his supports.
Well, you had to wonder if Speed Amp was online for the Lucio as well, because they just didn't seem to get out of range very quickly.
As dragons go through, Sunbear follows right after, gets naded on top of them as Lucky Owl once again popping off, getting those picks, probably looking for another one, gets it through a tiny hole in the wall.
Now, we do have Eklo sneaking around behind here as well. Hasn't been scouted out yet, but you do have to wonder if they're aware they didn't kill him. Because this looks like the setup for a flank barrage here. But Lucky Owl may be able to spot and kill Eklo in time as he moves over the top here. If Eklo jumps up too high, the Widow will be able to rip him right off, and the sights come out. Eklo has to get out of dodge real quick now.
No, he's still hiding there.
Yeah,
he's
and
disrespecting the Widow.
Gremlin gets him.
And they taken down by Mr. Twister. Great reaction by Dallas.
Oh yeah, they had all the information they needed, so that definitely wasn't the time for Florida to go in.
Yeah. As
may also get a few kills here on the retreat, although Boss Face does get out of dodge. Or
Lucky
does he?
Gets
Lucky Owl.
Neck.
Nicely done. That would have to be a headshot because Lucky Owl had fallen just under 300 HP there. So that's a really clutch shot for the D-Mech. Max has actually swapped onto the Reaper here. So this is a bit of an interesting play. Instead of trying to dominate through aerial superiority, they're now playing on the ground with a largely ground-based composition. I don't know if this is going to work as well,
Dragon
actually,
coming
into
in
Dallas.
Soon. There it is. There's a Reaper behind him. He manages to see him.
That's another multi-kill from Mode. He's going to get the Reinhardt as well. 3 kills from the Primal, as Vax's Reaper may barely make it out alive. In fact, I think RNA has chased a little too far there. Eklo's trying to get her on the retreat, but doesn't quite make it. Solid escape from the Lucio. And again, this is another hold at the choke here from Dallas Deranged, as Florida's time bank continues to be whittled down.
This is their strength, just holding long sight lines with the game, as I will probably...
shatter! My goodness! And the bomb's gonna do all the cleanup work that wasn't done by the Reinhardt play there. The res is going to keep Vax in the game, and finally Florida Harmony keeps things moving. Sometimes it just takes a big shatter from the Reinhardt when that bubble isn't quite ready.
As I'm sorry about that, we missed all of that due to lag. And we have a disconnect on my side from the game. And we're reconnecting
apologies,
right
ladies
now.
and gentlemen. I'm going to try to cast this through voice alone. Eklo has just gotten a 3-kill with his Dragon Blade. Mode has fallen quite low, does get a kill onto Bray, but the Nano onto Vax on the Reaper and subsequent 2K are going to ensure that Florida Harmony does get that point. So, we do see a bit of a follow-up here from the Florida Harmony. They push forward, net a kill onto Sayonara, and Vax does get a little greedy, follows up with damage onto Monkai, and RNA gets the kill. Monkai's fallen quite low as well. Dallas just needs to get out here, but Monkai has gotten knocked out of mech and probably can't escape. Mode is still playing this a little close, as though Dallas is still looking to engage, but really they do need to be backing up here for a full fight. They've given up a lot of ground.
Yeah, and then now back off, and we are moving back in. Ash, Nakiel is on the Ash. Like, let's see if we can build that Bob really quickly and get something done, as we have Eklo on the Genji once again. Big Shatter gets 4 people, and Die indeed gets 2, and they clear the Dallas from the point. I don't think they will be able to spawn in time to contest this. No. And that's a 3rd point.
Yeah, that was all one big snowball right there by the looks of it again, as Dallas kept taking fights where they really were at a disadvantage from the start, and you had to wonder about that decision making. With that said, we saw that last play set up by a beautiful sleep dart from Gregory, knocking Mode down, and as a result, opening things up for Bray to land another massive shatter, which in turn set up the Death Blossom. So as a result, Florida goes from nearly being held on second point to capping out with time. And that's big on hybrid maps like Blizzard World because it means they're guaranteed another run on offense, even if the opposing side caps out with time. Now, there definitely were a lot of bright spots there for Dallas on the defense. They definitely won quite a few fights, and maybe they'll be able to build on that during their attack run. We'll have to see what they go with.
Which it looks like they already picked their comp for Ryan, Zarya, Lucky Al once again the Ash Arena on that Lucio and Sayonara on the Ana, as Harmony will be going with a Widow Junk once again, which worked for them so well on Junkertown. With Bray on the Reinhardt, Bossface on the Zarya, Gregory on the Ana, and Gremlin on the Lucio, which is highly necessary, especially when you have a Reinhardt, so you can move around.
5, 4.
So that will
So
be
yes,
a hard fight.
this is the composition actually that Dallas started out with on defense, and they got ripped apart first fight because they had no answers for the Pharah. However, in this situation, playing against the Junkrat, they don't have to worry about damage over the top, so it's possible that it'll work a little better. I still don't really like the Ashe matchup against the Widow there, but perhaps the dynamic value into the clumped-up composition we see here from the Florida Harmony. Apologies.
As he empties an entire clip into the shield, but Ekla once again, where is this guy popping off from? Simply coming from their backside and just taking them out one by one. I believe at least 3 kills there.
Yeah, and that's a lot of ult charge built up as well for the Florida Harmony.
Yeah.
It means they're coming up on that Pyre, and more importantly, perhaps, coming up on the Nano. This is a great situation for Bray, because between the Nano and his upcoming Shatter, he'll be able to do a lot of work in this fight. On the other side of things, we see a bit of the ult charge reset from the Dallas Deranged. They're going for a dive look now, with Lucky Owl back on his Tracer.
I feel it's a great choice to go for the dive here, as you can dive this Widow and contest anything. They get the Widow as they move on now to the rest of the team. Charge comes in on the Winston. Nano boost to sustain. Shatter gets the Ana. Falls down to right after, but a tire will clean out 3 with a drop, cleaning up 2. And Harmony hold it, as they will now stagger as much as they can Mankai.
Yeah, but that was actually a pretty good fight for the Dallas Deranged, all things considered. They showed that they could find initial picks onto the Florida Harmony, and they also burned through a lot of the ultimates that
Lucky
Florida
Owl,
Harmony
though,
had.
used that push to get into a good position. He has a flank now. He has a side on the Widow. He almost one clips her. That was a fraction of a health left, as he now tries to do something, as his team will probably be engaging right now on the back line.
Bray does get purpled, but lands a charge. That dragon is going through boss face, but doesn't quite find enough value. Sayonara has fallen on the other side. Vax net to both of the supports, and that should be a fight win for the Florida Harmony here, in dominant fashion.
That looked good, but it seemed like Harmony Dallas did not have what they needed to get this right. They didn't manage to finish off the kills. That gets you to think, if Lucky Owl managed to finish out Vax, would this be any different? It's like that was a major point. As they're now coming
and
in
we see
once
another
again.
swap here as well, Genji from Mr. Twister. So this is something of a classic dive here with Ana Lucio. Lucky Owl has fallen a bit low though, as Vax gets bubbled. The Shatter doesn't find anything though. Mode goes in with Nano and Primal onto the backline, knocking Vax out of the fight. Bray is falling quite low on the other side, but does get a bubble to stay up. Mode does finally finish out his kill, but the Nano boost onto Bray is answered by Soundbearer. Mode finds another kill in the back. Monkai finds Gremlin. This is finally the break that Dallas has been looking for. But
Oh!
It's the grab tire combo nets 4. It might not be enough though, as it's just Eklo left on the point. And
That
by the
looked
skin
beautiful.
of their teeth, Dallas Deranged hold on. With that said, Vax is coming back into the fight. Finds Monkai right
Oh!
off the bat. Lucky Owl sticks him, but Gremlin is now in the game. And
It's a
Gremlin,
Lucky Owl
with the
versus
on-out
3.
and the Hammond
Nope.
are back on point. Mode is onto Gregory, has found a little bit of damage and forced out the nade, but still, this is anyone's fight. This could be anyone's
Dallas
game.
is finally
Bray has
getting
fallen to
advantage
half, but
on
so
point.
has Mode. Mode lands a bit more damage with the jump. The tanks now from the side of Florida Harmony have fallen low. Vax nets Mr. Twister, but both tanks are down. Florida Harmony, finally, this should be the win that Dallas Deranged have been looking for. Still, that beat is going to keep Eklo alive long enough for the tire. It lands on Aranea. This is still dangerous here for the Dallas Deranged. Gremlin falls, Eklo falls, but Gregory's back in, and the Rhine from Bray should be there any second. He isn't going to go in, though.
Finally,
What a
Eklo falls.
fight.
He lived there for such a long time. One
Now,
would
there
think-
is going to be a little bit of a time bank here built up by the Dallas Deranged. They're trying to snowball this as Boss Face falls on the escape, and it looks like they're going for Bray as well. Bray should fall here as well. The rest of the Florida Harmony are going to get away, but Dallas Deranged have made plenty of space here.
Yeah, with 5 ultimates now, and Mode almost halfway to his ult, even after he used it just now. Like, they're doing tons of damage. Just quote
Yeah,
freak.
Dallas has a massive ult ping, but Mr. Twister could get caught out here. Vax misses the flash ping. This is an interesting 1v1, but Mode jumps in and gets Vax. Bossface has committed here as well, but is in a pretty unfavorable situation. Gregory is going to keep him up for the time being, though. The pulse bomb doesn't find anything from Lucky Owl.
Yeah, as Winston now trying to
Okay,
get it
this
back
is
in the pack.
dangerous for Mode. He
Goes
does pop
down,
the
gets
primal.
pop primal. He was almost gets that Ana, but he simply backs off of it. A charge comes in, doesn't get one. High Noon coming in, getting 2! As the
Yeah, that
Diva
Diva
Bomb
shows
eats
up
one
in
of the
kill
shots.
feed, but it's not enough.
As Diva eats
Not enough
one of
to
those.
save them.
In comes a bomb, gets blocked off. A blade gets rooted by a trap. That is unfortunate to see. As now we have Tracer finally finished off.
60 seconds.
And a
And
minute
those
left.
late ultimate uses from the Dallas Deranged might just cost them. They have Pulse Bomb and Nano left, but Shatter and Nano, as well as the Tire, are online on the other side. There are just 45 seconds left. 45 slim seconds.
Yeah, they need to
For the
find
Dallas
this Joker.
Deranged to save their
They need to
team.
find this Joker and stop that tire, because that tire can be very bad. Nano boost on the Genji. Going in, Shatter does not seem to find much. In comes the tire from the side, gets 3! That is huge! As this might spell the death for Dallas right here and now, as Harmony is pushing forward. There's only Diva alive, and she will stay safe to touch the point, but she can do nothing else, as finally, nope, will not be seen by the Junkrat. Oh,
Mode will have a little bit of time here as well to build up his primal. That may be what they need. Lucky Owl has found an early pick onto Vax. This isn't over quite yet, although it may appear that way. Gregory is being isolated by Mode, has fallen to half, but uses a nade to sustain himself. Mode is falling a little bit low here, and it's looking like Dallas Deranged is having a hard time keeping their presence on point. But Mode does find Gregory. The beat comes out. Aranea falls on the other side, and Eklo has found another kill, but Boss Face is falling quite low. Bray
Vax
as well.
finds Lucky
Vax
Owl with a stun.
gets 2
As a
big
bomb,
kills.
all the ultimates are used. There's nobody left to contest the point, as they simply
And
fall
that's
down.
it.
And Florida Harmony takes the match 3-1.
We have a bit of a dark horse here in the OWCC playoffs. Florida Harmony didn't win a single regular season game, but from their last place seeding, they've already gotten 2 wins. And now they're going to be going up against the Shanghai Staggered, the first place team in their group. And after what we've seen today, I think the Staggered should be a little scared, because it feels like Florida Harmony has a lot more left that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it is quite an interesting conundrum that they're doing the Cinderella story. The question is, will they be able to make it to the finals? their biggest opponent, the Shanghai Stagger, is next. And, the first game, they looked like they needed to warm up, but once they did, oh my god, that was quite a performance. However, not to say that, I cannot stress how well Dallas also played. They held their ground. They were a little too overeager, but that's about it. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Saw strong play from different parts of the Dallas roster. Mode, of course, had some individual pop-offs on Winston that left us gasping for air. Lucky Owl as well just dominated multiple fights on Tracer. And the rest of the team, Sayonara, Mr. Twister, everyone else just chipped in at times when it was necessary, but it wasn't enough. And I really do think the thing that cost Dallas the most was just late ult usage and not getting out of fights that were already lost. It's just discipline that they were lacking at different points in the game. And Florida Harmony did everything they needed to take advantage of that.
Yeah, as we will be finishing it up here, who do you think is the MVP of the match from each team?
Well, I think we'll start with Dallas Deranged here, and I saw a lot of really strong plays out of Sayonara and Mode, but there were also moments where they didn't show up quite as much. So for Dallas Deranged, I do think I have to give the MVP award to Lucky Owl, who just did so much, especially on Dorado, to keep Dallas Deranged in the game. On the other side of things, there was strong play from Vax. Again, very strong play from the rest of the team. Gregory contributed quite a bit as well. But really, all you had to do was look at the kill feed because, wow, I mean, that was a performance from the Flex DPS of the Florida Harmony.
Yeah. And this will wrap up as, I believe, Florida Harmony will move
That's
forward.
Eklo, by the way. I just want to clarify. That's Eklo.
For anybody who missed it, that is Eklo.
Yeah.
Florida Harmony will be moving up next to face off the next team in their Cinderella story, which will be, if you give me a moment, the Shanghai Stagger, as we will see what happens next as we go to our quarterfinals. Yeah, quarterfinals.
Round 3 of the tournament.
Round 3 of the tournament. And we'll see where we get.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing all you guys there. Obviously, there's plenty of other great Overwatch to watch right now that our match has wrapped up. The Overwatch Contenders North American Finals between Fusion University and Atlanta University is on right now. That should be a great game. Has been shaping up to be one from what I've heard. Additionally, there are a number of other channels out there that are worth watching. So definitely keep watching Overwatch because it is such a great game.
Hey, Matt, where can they find you?
They can find me, Dancing Mad, on Twitter at /mandancing, and then here on Twitch at DancingMadOW. I stream occasionally. I'm on Twitter a little more often. And if you're interested in doing any sort of casting as well, definitely take a look at broadcast.gg. It has all the resources to get you started.
Okay. You can find me at Asmiel Twitch/Asmiel. Well, I occasionally stream, very rarely. However, I keep doing these streams and casting as much as I can. Thank you very much for joining us with the OWCC playoffs. Dallas Deranged versus Florida Harmony. Florida Harmony winning 3-1, going up against Dallas Deranged next time. And we thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. Have good games. And don't get tilted.